Good evening, Tsupiteros. Welcome again to Pillow Talks. Before I begin, I'd like to thank one of my sponsors, APS Online. If you'd like to trade with a broker with excellent research, do trade with APS Online. Okay, so as always, I'd like to start off with analysis of the PSEI index itself. So let's go to our charts right away. This in the last 5 days, you'll notice the market has been somewhat boring because it's just been going up and down in a range. But one thing to take notice of this market right now is that the market, after climbing from 6,740 all the way up to 7,247, it hardly retraced. It hardly went down. No, it didn't even touch the 38.2% Fibonacci retracement, and so this behavior indicates strength, no, and would indicate that prices are still very strong and will likely continue to go higher. In fact, actually, last Friday, I think the market has already started to continue trending up already, and I expect prices to move further past the 7,264 level or the previous heights, and probably head towards, if we follow the trend here, maybe going towards the 7.5, 7.6, or who knows, maybe even the 7,700 levels in the next few days or a couple of weeks. No, so the market is bullish, even though it's relatively high already compared with where it was 1.5 months ago. I do think that prices are still going higher. I believe that we are setting up for a very strong closing by the end of this year. And what can I say? It's just a bullish market. We are in a bull market, and the bulls are still very much in control. I have a table here that I want to show you in my PowerPoint, and it is the statistics that I got from the market with regards to its performances in December and January. So these are the closing prices of the market in November, December, and January from the years 2010 to last year, 2019. Okay, so from what I've gathered here, 8 out of the last 10 years, December was always an up month, and it was up by an average of 1.44% for the last 10 years. And January was up 7 out of the last 10 years and was up by almost 2% on average for the last 10 years. So if we are going to base our decision making in the market on statistics and probabilities, then I would tend to think that we are going to have a very strong market all the way up to the end of January. All right. So before I continue with my video for tonight, I'd like to thank my other sponsor, AAA Equities. If you'd like to trade with a broker that has automated stops and automated breakout orders, do trade with AAA Equities. Okay, so I guess a lot of people made a lot of money in the likes of BHI this week, or APL, and and some high flyers. this is really the characteristic of the market when it is already relatively high. There are probably some traders who are no longer too willing to buy those relatively high big caps or mid caps. So they are now looking for the small caps to make some money. So although it is indicative that when the basuras or the speculative stock starts moving, it's actually indicative that we are already quite high. It is indicative that the market is already quite high. However, although the market can go higher, it has now become a season for the speculative issues, or what you call the basuras. Okay, so for the second part of my video this evening, I would like to attempt to try and look for these the next big thing, or the next alpha stocks in the market. Okay, so what is an alpha? It is the excess return of an investment relative to the return of a benchmark index. So we're looking for stocks that pwedeng mag-ceiling, that it could go like 50, 60, 70, maybe 100% returns in just a couple of days time. Okay, so here are the recent big winners in the market, and these are Abra, BHI, Fero, PHA, and APL. And I've indicated here their market caps just before prices started to go up. So if you'll notice, most of these stocks, aside from APL, have market caps of less than 1 billion pesos. Okay, first and foremost, if you're looking for a jackpot stock, if you're looking for something that could go up by 50% or more in just a couple of days' time, it will certainly be in stocks that are small caps, and most probably stocks that have a market capitalization of less than 1 billion pesos. Okay, so I've also indicated here the free float market cap, which means if I multiply the free float with the market cap, this is actually the amount of the value of the stock which are in the public's hands. Remember, free float is the percentage of shares that are in the public's hands. So with regards to Abra, 73% of the shares are in the public's hands. So if you multiply this with the market cap, the free float market cap is actually 145 million pesos. Okay, that's very, very small. I think that's probably one of the smallest stocks in the market with regards to market cap. Okay, so an ingredient for looking for these alpha stocks, or for looking for these stocks that could go, that could hit their ceiling prices, or something like that, is a small market cap, and especially a small free float market cap. Okay, so caveat on looking for these alpha stocks. Okay, the odds of finding an alpha stock is very, very small. But we will attempt to try to find these stocks nonetheless. So wag niyo akong sisihin at the end of this video if at the end of the week next week, if some of these recommendations of mine doesn't really fly, or because it's very very hard to identify these alpha stocks, and they're very moody, and it probably depends on the insiders, or maybe some people who would like to push these stocks. So, but nonetheless, here are some of the requirements that I tend to look for when I try to find these alpha stocks. So the first requirement is that I look for a bull flag. Okay, so in terms of its technical picture, in terms of its pattern, I would tend to look for a bull flag. Okay, that's the very first requirement. The second requirement is that the stock has to be a low market cap stock, preferably under 1 billion market cap. And then finally, the stock should have a low free float percentage. Okay, so if by scanning the market, I have found these 9 candidates that you might want to check out, that maybe, just maybe, one of these stocks or a couple of these stocks can become the next alpha stock, can become the next AR or the next Faro or the next BHI. So here they are. Okay, so I have here ECP, Coal, WIN, KPPI, APVI, Lodestar, NRCP, Alco, and CEI. Okay, so if you'll notice, in terms of the market cap, they are all pretty low. You know, even Alco, which is trading at 3.7 billion market cap, is still quite low. You know, but if you multiply it with their free float market cap, most of these stocks are actually below 1 billion market cap. So they're very light. You know, if you wanted to, what does this mean? You know, what does 176 million pesos mean for the likes of Easy Call? If you have 176 million pesos, you can actually buy all the shares of ECP in the board. Okay, so of course, if there's no more shares left, then you know how can prices go down, right? So of course, the lower the free float market cap, the more potentially bullish the stock is. So let's look at the stocks one by one. So we have here ECP. Okay, so this is ECP. You'll notice that the stock has been slowly climbing upwards, and it's now forming a bull flag right here. Although the pool isn't really that big, but it still nonetheless is a bull flag. It's sort of like moving in a sort of like a rounding bottom sort of like pattern. I expect prices to break out above this consolidation here and maybe accelerate higher in the next couple of days. And then we have coal next. Coal actually appears to have already held above its support at 29 cents and looks like will reattempt its previous high at 36 cents. If you look at it from a bigger perspective, although it's relatively high already compared to its value a couple of months ago, it still is quite low when you look at it from a much bigger perspective. You know, at one point in time, this was actually trading at 1 peso and 50 cents per share, and right now it's just 32 cents. So this is another stock that you might want to look out for. Next we have WIN. WIN just has been just consolidating in the last 1 month here between 24 and 22 cents. It created sort of like a pull here in early November and with volume, and I believe that prices might just be consolidating right now before it climbs back up and probably reattempts its highs. And then we have KPPI. KPPI also appears to have already held above its support at around 6 pesos, and it's now starting to climb back up. If you follow the trend, I believe that prices can probably climb further than its previous high of 685, maybe go to 750 or something. Then we have APVI. Okay, Altus appears to have held above its support at 1450 and is now starting to climb back up. I expect Altus to retest its previous high of 1604 in the next couple of days. And you know, if you follow its trend, I wouldn't be surprised in the next few weeks if it goes to as high as 17 to 750 per share. Then you have Lodestar. Okay, Lodestar created this pole here and then has been consolidating at the highs in the last couple of weeks between what is this 79 cents and 86 cents. I believe just like the others, prices might just be consolidating at the highs before it continues to go higher. Then you have NRCP. Okay, NRCP is actually more of like in a sideways trend still in the medium term, but I like the pattern. I think prices are already starting to bottom out in the medium term. Compared to the other stocks that I recommended earlier, this one is a little bit more premature. It's a little bit more in the earlier stages of its uptrend, but I do believe that prices are already starting to bottom out for NRCP. Next, we have Alco. Okay, Alco has already started to climb higher in the last couple of weeks, but I believe that prices could still continue to climb higher, and who knows, might even accelerate to the upside and do a parabolic rise. Looking at its trend, it might just be consolidating here between 68 cents and 72 cents before it continues to go higher. And then finally, we have CEI. Clearly, we have a nice pull here, and then followed by a bull flag pattern right here. It looks like it is already holding above the 15 cents level and looks like it's now poised to trend up further. So that's it, guys. I hope you learned something from me again this weekend. Let's go for those alpha stocks, and do take a risk. It's a bull market. It's the most bullish time of the year, this December to January period. And good luck on the market, and see you again next week. Bye, guys.